Hey y'all, hey! Hey boys and girls! Today we are going to continue on with learning about context clues that you just learned about in the previous video. So context clues are where you are going to try to figure out what a word means by reading the text around a word. So on this anchor chart, you can look at the top that says, ask yourself if there are any clues in the text to help you find the meaning of a word. So if you're reading a story and you get to a word that you don't know, instead of you asking Miss Yell, asking your mom and dad, or looking at a dictionary or even Googling what a word means, you can use the clues that are in the text to help you find out what a word means if you don't know what the word means. So how do you do this? So there's different ways that you can do this. First, you can look at the pictures. Sometimes the pictures in a story will help you know what a word means. Sometimes the surrounding sentences, so words that are around a sentence with that unknown word in it, will help you to know what the word means. Also, there may be synonyms for the word within the same sentence or within the surrounding sentence. There may be antonyms. So remember, antonyms are the opposite. So you will see some kind of example that will say, so-and-so, blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. And so you'll know that that could be an antonym to your context clue. Or there may be examples. And we're going to actually see some of these things in our next couple of slides. Or the word may actually have the definition right in the story. Okay, so when you encounter a word that you do not recognize, using context clues to determine, I'll get it out in a minute, to determine the word's meaning. So the first kind of example is a definition. So remember I showed you on the previous slide down at the bottom, these are different ways that you can find the text feature, or excuse me, the context clues within the story. And so these are the examples of those. So for a definition, an example would be, Mr. Fry is an affable principal. He is pleasantly easy to approach and always friendly. Well, I don't know what that word affable means, but when I look at the rest of the sentence or in the next surrounding sentence, it says, he is pleasantly easy to approach and always friendly. So that tells me the definition of affable right there in the next sentence. So I know affable means pleasantly easy to approach and always friendly. Okay, another way that you may find a context clue is in a synonym. So remember, synonyms are words that mean the same thing as the word that you are looking at. So Mr. Fry is quite affable. There's that word affable again. In fact, he reminds me of Miss Baker. Do you remember how kind she was? Well, once again, I don't know what that word affable means, but when I look at the next sentence, it says, he reminds me of Miss Baker. Do you remember how kind she was? Well, that synonym is showing me that she is like Mr. Fry and she was kind. So that must mean that affable means kind. Okay, another way would be an antonym. An antonym is an opposite. So in this example, I miss Mr. Fry. Our new principal is cranky and unapproachable. Mr. Fry was so affable. So I don't know what affable means, but I know that if I miss Mr. Fry, I must have liked him, right? He must have been a good principal. And it says our new principal is cranky and unapproachable. Am I going to like somebody who's cranky and unapproachable? Probably not. So I know that affable, if it's an opposite, means that Mr. Fry was a happy person and I could approach him easily. All right, and then another way is through an example. Mr. Fry is an affable principal. There's that word affable. He knows everybody's name. If you have a problem, talk to him. So I don't know what affable means, but it gave me some examples of what affable means. He knows everybody's name, so that means he must be a friendly person. He talks to people a lot. He's able to get along with others. If you have a problem, talk to him. Well, I know if somebody is approachable and if I have a problem, I can talk to them, then they must be a pretty friendly person and must be pretty kind. So affable must mean friendly and kind. And then another way, sorry, that keeps popping up on the bottom of my screen. I'll wait till it goes away. Okay, another way is inferencing. So inferencing is using what you already know and what the text knows to form an opinion or an idea. So you don't need to worry about talking to Mr. Fry. He's an affable principal. So if I'm inferencing and it's telling me I don't need to worry about talking to someone, that means I don't have to be worried about it because they must be an approachable person and they must be pretty easy to talk to. So I think affable must mean that they're friendly, kind, and easily to be approached. Okay, so now we're going to look at a passage called Rain Showers. Now, in this passage, you can see there are some bold words. Remember, bold words are words that are darker print than all the rest of the print around them. So all these words that you see that have this dark, bold print, sorry, Miss Yow's not a very good circler with my mouse there, but all those words that are the dark, bold print, those are our words that we are going to be using to find out what they mean, and we're going to use the context clues surrounding them to find the definitions or to find out what the word means. Okay, so I'm going to use my pointer here. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to read this to you, and when we get to a word that's bold, we are going to think about what that word means based on some of those things that we saw. So we're going to either think about if it was a definition. Could there be a definition around the word in the surrounding sentences? Could there be a synonym that could tell me what the word means? Could there be an antonym so I know the opposite of what that word means? So if I know the opposite, I can figure out what the word means. Or is there an example that gives me ideas of what it means? Or can I inference and use my skills that my predicting skills based on what I already know? So we're going to do that as we read our story, Rain Showers. Rain showers. Water that falls from the sky is called precipitation. There's that bold word, precipitation, and I have no idea what that word means. So if I look at the clues around it, I'm going to reread that sentence and see if it has any clues in the sentence. Water that falls from the sky is called precipitation. I think that right there, water that falls from the sky is called, I think that may be the definition. So I know precipitation must be water that falls from the sky. It can come down as rain, hail, sleet, or snow. Rain is considered the most common type of precipitation. And, precipitation again, I know that means water that falls from the sky. So rain is considered the most common type of precipitation in many areas of the world, and it is a very important part of the water cycle. When water evaporates, it turns into a gas called water vapor. Water vapor. I don't know what vapor means. So let me reread that sentence and see if there are any clues in that sentence. When water evaporates, it turns into a gas. So water evaporates, it turns into a gas. That must be the definition. So I know vapor is water that has evaporated, that is now a gas. The water vapor rises in the sky until it becomes clouds. And I know clouds are gas, so that water vapor must be clouds in the skies. So I'm going to also underline that. So not only is this a definition, but there's also an example there. The water vapor rises in the sky until it becomes clouds. So I'm going to underline clouds because clouds is an example of water vapor. The water vapor will turn back into a liquid and fall from the sky. This may come down as a lot of heavy raindrops, or it may come down as a light drizzle. Okay, my word drizzle is my word that I need to find a context clue for because I don't know what drizzle means. So I'm going to reread that sentence that has drizzle in it and see if there's a context clue for me. This may come down as a lot of heavy raindrops, or it may come down as a light drizzle. Oh, okay, so I see the word or there. Or is going to be a clue word to tell me that it's probably going to be an antonym because opposites are antonyms, and that or tells me that it can't be a lot of heavy raindrops. So if I know a lot of heavy raindrops is the opposite of drizzle, because or tells me it's an opposite, then I think drizzle must be light raindrops. Most of the time, we can tell when it is going to rain. The sky may become overcast, dark, and cloudy. Okay, well, guess what? Overcast is a word that I don't know. It is not bold, but since I don't know what that word means, I'm going to use the context clues around it to see if I can figure out what it means. So it says the sky may become overcast, dark, and cloudy. Dark and cloudy are two examples there. So I think overcast must mean that the sky is dark and cloudy. And I'm going to underline sky there because sky is in that sentence and it tells me we're talking about the sky. So I think overcast means that the sky is dark and cloudy. The weatherman or woman may talk about the forecast on the morning news show. Okay, forecast is my word that I need to solve and figure out what it means. So I'm going to reread that sentence. It says the weatherman or woman. Oh, where have I seen the weatherman or woman? I think I've seen them on TV before. So I'm going to underline that. And may talk about the forecast on the morning news. Well, the morning news is on TV. So I think forecast must be what the weatherman and woman are talking about when they're on the morning news and they're telling me what the weather is going to be about. Then you can grab your umbrella, raincoat, and other protective gear before you walk out the door. So protective is our key word or our word that we are going to solve using our keywords and clue words around it. Then you can grab your umbrella, raincoat, and other protective gear. So I think umbrella is gear. I think raincoat is gear. And so I'm going to underline gear also. So if I know that umbrella and raincoat are gear, then protective must mean that it's something that's going to keep me safe or keep me from getting exposed to the rain. Because an umbrella keeps me from getting wet and a raincoat keeps me from getting wet. So I think protective means something to keep me safe or keep me from being exposed to the rain. All right, boys and girls, great job using your context clues. So we are going to do some practice with your own story today. I'm going to give you a few words that you are going to need to see if you can figure out what the word means based on the context clues. Just remember, when you are doing the story, when you're reading it, you are going to be looking for the words that surround that sentence to help you know what the word means. All right, let's become context clues detectives.